Yes, this question, since we're talking about unlicensed person who pretend to be unlicensed, the question I'm gonna have is, what is my recourse on an unlicensed contractor representing himself as a legitimate licensed contractor?
All right, let's go to Mr. Snellings first.
The first thing that you would do is you'd contact the construction service center and report that you've had work done, or you think this person is an unlicensed contractor. We have, and it's a criminal offense, and we have members of the Tampa Police Department as well as our Construction Services Division investigation, and they will go after and they will try to bring this person to justice, to coin a phrase. And it is, and unfortunately sometimes it is a long process because the people that are doing this, they understand the kind of risk that they're taking and bringing to themselves. So it's difficult, but ultimately you can bring somebody to justice. And the first thing you have to do, and it's probably very similar with the county, let Peggy answer that, but you contact the Construction Service Center. We can help you find out whether or not they were licensed, and if they're not, we can help you map out the course to try to bring that person to get restitution for you and your project.
Very good. Well, how look on the county side, Ms. Smith?
We probably very similar to that. You would contact the center. The contractor licensing component is at the center. We have added that in, and we can also verify for folks if they're interested in hiring someone whether or not they are licensed and registered in Hillsborough County to do business here.
So that's going to be a part of the new
That is
center
going to be a part of the center.
Okay.
Yes,
Look,
sir.
Go ahead.
Just the one thing, and I didn't occur to me, but we actually use the county licensing board as one of our juries and judges to go after people. Our enforcement arm. Thank you. So we work with the county in that, and so all of anybody who does something incorrect or improper, and you bring them to the trades boards, one of the trades boards, it's the actual county board that does it. The city is not separated. So there's a lot of parallels between how the city and the county does things, do things, and
especially in
this
contract. But I think what Mr. Smalls, the point he made, is so valid. I mean, certainly property owners, individual owners can come and pull permits, but the point he makes is so true that you get somebody who's unlicensed, unless you know what it is you expect them to do and can watch over what they're doing. Okay, when they walk away, there are some avenues you can pursue, but it's a long road and you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. I mean, you get to the end of the road, maybe you get your money back, maybe you don't, but meanwhile your roof isn't finished, or your swimming pool's not done, or your addition isn't completed. You're the one that's really suffering.
Jump in, Tom.
And you really cannot count on the quality of work that you're getting.
Exactly.
Because if they're
Not
doing
small
that,
enough to hear that.
That's true.
It's absolutely true. You have to be able to have some reliability in the people that you're hiring to build your dream house.
That's right.
And you have to be able to count on them. And if an unlicensed contractor, you cannot.
All right, let's move the conversation along a little bit more, unless you got something, Hakeem.
Well, the number one thing is that on my notes I've been asking people as I was going to do this show, and some of the questions they was asking me was that the contractor that you get and the information that I heard Tom say is what needs to require a person, that once a person has given their money and for whatever reason the contractor don't finish the job, then the city has nothing to do with that. That's between you and the contractor.
Tom?
Well, no, and it's like I say, if you have a contractor and you're unsatisfied with their work, or you think they were doing it improperly, or whatever the case may be, a licensed contractor, absolutely. If you have a complaint on that contractor, you reach out, you contact the construction service division. They start a file, they open up a case on that, and they will do the investigation for you. They will investigate their complaint. They will do the legwork for you, and then you would have to appear, for lack of a better term, as a witness and accusing them in front of the board. But the first step is to contact the City of Tampa Construction Service Center or
the Hillsborough County through the center, the contractor licensing.
Right.
But it's I mean, I'm sure Mr. Smalls would tell his clients, don't give them all the money up front. Make sure when you enter into that contract that there are some good thresholds, some benchmarks, that you need to see some progress as you go along.
What's your experience with that, Dr. Small?
My experience is basically what she's saying is true. There has to be some kind of benchmark. There has to be some kind of progress going along. Usually you try to give the individual a certain amount of money, what we call the seed money, so that they can buy the supplies. And then as the project progresses and has been expected by either the city or county, then at that time you know that it at least has meet a certain standards.
Right.
One of the problems that we have found in the field is that they got an aunt, an uncle, or a cousin, or somebody who they may know that may have worked in the field of construction as a laborer or whatever. Now he got a job, he got a complaint because he's saying, hey, it could be done a little differently, and he doesn't have the knowledge. He doesn't know the professional code, and as a result, then now you got a complaint because of the fact they're trying to believe what someone else says rather than
yeah,
the professional board.
I can see that as being a problem. Even in my business, sometimes people say, well, my sister got an alarm system, she got this in her house, and
right.
They come to the house, you be doing the presentation, they come in and just walk in, and now all of a sudden, they the expert. You know?
Right.
So I know that, I know how that feeling go. But let me kind of move back. I want to kind of take it to a step-by-step process. Let's go to now, where in the city do you pull a permit? Where do you walk in? Do you have an appointment? I want to get a permit. Let's start the step process of this.
Well, specifically, you go to 1400 North Boulevard.
Okay.
That's the construction service center, construction service center, and that's where all building permits are issued. And so you go there, and
You don't have to have an appointment.
You don't have to have an appointment. It goes faster if you call ahead and make an appointment. If not, you know, it may be a 10-15 minute wait before someone gets you and starts the permitting process for you.
Okay.
And then you're submitting your plans, or depending on what the nature of your request is.
Okay, let's go to the phone line. Welcome to Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. What say you, caller?
Good morning. I wanted to comment about the fact you keep using the term contractor. You're only a contractor if you're licensed by the state. That document that these people sign is really not a legitimate legal contract per se, so you're not actually into a contract. Now, when that homeowner hires that person, should that person get hurt on their job, they're actually an employee of that homeowner, and they can sue that person's home insurance to cover those injuries, because you're dealing with workman comp laws with that person being employed by you. Now, when you're talking about the legal process of going in there, that document is really not considered a legal document, as I'm saying, you know, to take and say that you're referring to these people who don't even have a journeyman's license, let alone referring to them as a contractor. I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you for the call. We got some very educated callers on Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. He makes a good point that if you enter into an agreement with somebody who's not a licensed contractor, then that legally, when you get ready to start trying to deal with the legal arena, that ain't no contract. So that makes sense. Anybody want to comment on that, or we can move on? All right, let's go now. I want to move to you, Miss Smith.
You better call me Peggy. Although my new husband's happy, we're saying Miss Smith.
All right, she said, call me Peggy.
Call me Peggy.
All right, Peggy.
Where can we get permits?
Yeah, where can you get permits? And then I want to add to that. Tell me, you got everybody there, court enforcement, building services. So where you get the permit, and tell me all of the components that's there.
I will. The center is located in County Center, 601 East Kennedy, downtown. The big, tall, mauve-colored glass building.
Okay.
We're on the 19th floor. Can't miss us. Get off the elevators. You'll see us right there to the left. In there, you come to get any building permits, or submit for any building permits, or to submit for commercial site plans, horizontal construction activities, new subdivisions.
Okay.
Of course, as I said earlier, zoning counseling, rezoning applications, public right-of-way information. If you want to do a driveway connection, you're going to put a new driveway in to get a permit to make that connection to that county public road. All of that happens there in the center. Now, there are a certain number of permits that you also can apply for online through Hillsborough County's website, which is hillsboroughcounty.org. Follow the links. It'll take you right to a website that will allow you to get some permits online. My goal is to eventually duplicate the center out there in the virtual world. I said I have a 92-year-old mother who thinks she has to do everything in person. And then I have a 22-year-old son who thinks he can do everything online. So
Yes.
recognizing that that's what our county is made of, all those kinds of folks, we need to accommodate both.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. That's what it's moving to. Hakeem the Dream.
Okay, you gotta call and come back.
Okay. Welcome to Honest Opinion, keeping it real, making it happen. What say you, caller?
Assalamu alaikum. And good morning to your statement. Yes, this do be the brother coming from the plantation. I would like to ask a question. I want you, they keep stressing that you should always use the license contract. Well, when I see the license contractor, as a homeowner, if he get in the house, then he still gets screwed, but he wants to breathe it. You don't have to put the best quality of stuff you have. All you gotta do just don't be below standard. The material you use, all you gotta do is just to be above standard. And sometimes the above standard stuff that we do don't last that long in your house. You get a year or 2 years, then you got this particle board instead of using the flat board, it starts fucking on your house. And you gotta replace it. They should have a more higher standard on material that the contractor can use and have to help the house on, because with this thing that takes the license, have it back just so you above standard. I think that all homeowners still getting screwed because of the material that the contractor used in the house. Thank you for letting me share.
Okay, I got his point. What's your thoughts on that, Dr. Small? He's saying that the homeowners still get messed around if there's not a standard that the licensed contractor uses in terms of quality of material. Very interesting angle.
Well, I can understand where he's coming from, but in most instances, what has happened is that the Department of Professional Regulations has pointed out the type of boards, the type of concrete, the strength of concrete, the material that should be used, the length of nails that goes on the roofing, so forth. So, in some instances, what has to happen is that if he feels that there is some things that's being substandard, whenever that building inspector come out, point those things out. Usually, that inspector will actually notice those things and have them go back and make those corrections.
All right, Dr. Small, right on it. We got a doctor in the house. He hit it right on the head. He hit it right on the head, brother. Go ahead, I keep the dream.
Okay,
The nail on the head.
okay, the next question is that I myself had went through permitting process, and it was very tedious, and a lot of things that I felt was unnecessary, but you know, you have to follow the system. So then I had to get engineer, I had to get architecture, a lot of these things. When do you know, as a certainly could this licensed contractor tell you that you need to get an architecture to draw it up, draw the plans, you know, things of this nature? How would you know that for what you asking for is so simple? And most homeowners or most people who want something done, they can always say it's simple. But I'm saying you the question.
Exactly. You're asking your own question.
But when do I, you know, determine that I need an engineer, I'm gonna need architecture?
Okay.
So
I think they got you. Let's go to Mr. Snelly. When did the point they know they're gonna need an architect, engineer to prepare the plans or whatever? What point they gonna know that?
If you're doing structural work, foundation work, and you're building something up from scratch, literally from the ground up, anytime you're going to do any kind of structural work, you need to have plans that meet the Florida Building Code.
Exactly.
And that's really what drives why you would have to get an architect or an engineer. If a homeowner has the capability to draw up the plans meeting the Florida Building Code, they could probably do that. Structural engineers, when there's certain requirements within the code, and I'll yield to Dr. Smalls on that. There's certain requirements in all the various trade codes that required sealed engineered drawings, because the state asks for those things to assure a quality and safety level. So a lot of the reasons we ask for certain architectural or engineered drawings is driven by the Florida Building Code, and I'm sure it's the same around other states as well. So that's the answer there. Structural work, the Florida Building Code requires engineered and sealed drawings, and I'll turn it over.
Dr. Small, jump in on that.
He's correct on that. And usually if you got a good contractor that knows his trade, he knows exactly what need to take place at what point, and he basically can tell you that. What he's saying is true. Any structure, any foundation, those type things, when that individual is talking with his clients, he can point those things out. This is what you need, A, B, C, and D, and lay it out. Then you get the architect. The architect basically will come out, take the measurements, do what he has to do, the drawings, and he will actually get the seal and so forth to put on. But a good contractor, if he's doing his job, his trade, he knows exactly what needs to take place before you even go to point two.
And let me just jump in right while I got you. And we also know about any violations on the prospective property, if they